for people like us, it shouldn't be so hard to be happy. It really shouldn't be so hard. We've got so much going for us in so many ways. You know, it's just, it's a little bit embarrassing to the world's population when we sit around feeling sorry for ourselves because of why? Because you don't have a big enough iPod or a small enough iPod or what? You know, $10,000 more salary. You know, why is it that we're unhappy exactly? See? And, you know, our unhappiness is pretty irrational. The things that we use as excuses to be anything other than happy just don't make sense much. You see? So, get control. Take control. Spiritual life is getting control of yourself. Taming yourself. You can say taming yourself. Taming the wild beast that grabs you by the throat and says, no, you shouldn't be happy now. You should be upset now. We're going to be upset. We're going to bounce around being upset for a couple hours. Okay? And get in control of that and say, no. There's no point. There's no reason. It's not in my self-interest, you see? Ride the self-interest. Use the self-interest. But think about what's really in your self-interest. It will help you a great deal. It will help you a great deal as you go through your day. Just on an hour-to-hour basis, just remembering this will help you a great deal. Like, is it worth it to me to get angry here? You see? When somebody's provocative, somebody's irritating, you say, do I want to spend the next minutes, hours, you know, of my day being unhappy about this thing? See? You know, and just kind of remind yourself over and over again, there's never a good reason. Never, ever a good reason to be anything other than happy. So, you know, part of what we're doing in a spiritual life is learning how to be rational, actually. We're learning how to be rational. We're not rational. You know, some of the smartest people in our culture are the most irrational. It's got nothing to do with IQs or how much data you have, control of in your mind or something like that. It has to do with what's in your self-interest, really. That's rationality. What's in my self-interest? What's really good here for myself and others? And, you know, if you can't do it for yourself, you can always try to do it for others. Is getting angry in this situation really going to help other people around me? See, are other people going to start thanking me? Oh, thank you for getting angry. That was really very helpful here. See, what do we think? We think that that's a compassionate way to live, smart way to live, nice way to live. You know, when it comes to the people around you. You know, so you can't do it for yourself. At least get control of yourself for others. See, other people are not benefiting by your mental afflictions. Other people are not. You're certainly not benefiting, right? But other people aren't benefiting either. Don't fool yourself about this. You know, sometimes we get this idea that, you know, I'm going to get really angry and that'll help. That'll fix their wagon. If I get really angry, their wagon will definitely get fixed. However, how did that expression come about? What does that mean to fix your wagon? But you know what I mean, right? You've heard that expression before? I'm going to fix your wagon. It means I'm going to teach you a lesson or something like that, right? You know, it sounds like a good thing to do to fix somebody's wagon. If their wagon's broken, it probably should be fixed. And I guess that's the idea. It's like, you know, really this is a very, very beneficial thing I'm going to do here. Fixing their wagon and all. Their wagon was broken. They were irritating to me. That's a proof of a broken wagon. And I, by being very, very irritating back, will fix that wagon. You see, it's not useful to them either. It's not useful to yourself, and it's not useful to others. So live a rational life. So, you know, this whole weekend has actually been, you know, is about emotion, really. Is about retraining your emotions and redirecting your emotions, especially the emotion of love and devotion. But that, as I've said several times now, that has to also be undergirded. The foundation of rationality has to be there. For it to work, it has to be there. And so the foundation of the rationality foundation here as well as in any other context is it useful to myself and others? Will it help me achieve the happiness that I'm looking for, and in order to bring more happiness to others? And living a life of devotion, of selflessness, of love, of pure love, prema love, not kama love, is obviously in your self-interest. Obviously. Any little taste that we have had of that in our lives. Devotion, selfless devotion to another. We know, some part of us knows that this is really the way to be happy. Really the way to be happy is to do it, to dedicate your life and your efforts to someone else, to something else, to a higher principle, right? So it's obviously in your self-interest, but make sure that you know that. You know, when you go out on Monday morning, like armed and dangerous, okay? We're arming you up now. It's kind of like in the Matrix when they go to meet the machines, you know, and they got to get all those arms, like they get all those like, guns and everything. And you got to get the devotion guns going, you know. You got to get the rationale. So when you go out on Monday morning, you start, you know, serving somebody, right? That's kind of what we're talking about here. Learning how to serve somebody. You know why. You know why that would be the smartest thing for you to do. Because if you haven't gotten that clear, if you're going there, well, yes, that's nice to serve somebody. I think I should do that. See, with that kind of like superficial goody two-shoes, you know, kind of attitude, that sometimes is, you know, sometimes it can happen in a spiritual group. You know, it's just superficial. You know, if it's not deep, if it's not deep-seated, then it won't last. It simply won't last. I guarantee it. Maybe I'll come and fly into where you live and prove it by being really nasty to you for about 4 hours on end without stopping. And you'll break down. I'll break you down. My teacher used to say this regularly. He used to say, like, he looked at us all and he's like, I could break each one of you down in about 2 minutes. Well, it's good to realize that. You see, like, you know, it's kind of fragile. Our interest in helping others is pretty fragile. You see, if it's just at that level, if it's just like, yeah, that'd be nice, I could be nice, and here's one of the indications of its fragility. If I were nice, then everyone would be nice to me. See, and if you're going out into the world on Monday with that kind of attitude, that it won't even last through the morning. Because you'll find out pretty quickly that, you know, there are some people who, when you're nice to them, just aren't going to be nice back automatically. See? Because you haven't always been nice to people. If you had always been nice to people, then they would be nice back to you. But you haven't always been nice to people. So when you're turning over your new leaf on Monday and say, oh, finally, I'm going to be nice to people, don't be surprised if they're not that nice back. And then you go down to the foundation. You go down to the foundation of why you're being nice at all. See, why are you being kind? Why are you surrendering your apparent self-interest, your superficial self-interest to a deeper self-interest? And you go back to the rationale. You go back to the intellect and say, I am trying to cultivate good feelings because it's the smartest thing I could possibly do. You see? I'm trying to cultivate these feelings of surrender, of devotion, of compassion, of service. Because it's the smartest thing I could possibly do for myself, and then it's going to be easier. I won't say it'll be easy, but it'll be easier when it's hard, and it will be hard. It will be hard. If it weren't hard, we would already have achieved our goals a long time ago. You see, there's got to be a higher difficulty level involved here than we would hope. You see, we'd hope it would be easy, but it isn't going to be easy. So gird your loins and get ready for the battle, and have your weaponry. And the weaponry's primary two forms of weaponry is the weaponry of wisdom and compassion. And the compassion has to be grounded in the wisdom. If there's no wisdom, the compassion is kind of superficial and free floating, and will go down. It will dissolve. You have to know why you're being kind and nice and compassionate. Why you would surrender yourself to a guru, to the divine. Why, you see? Why would that be a good thing to do? Enlightened self-interest.